Dramatic footage of a daring robbery in Sweden has been released on the internet.
It may look like something out of a movie, but this robbery is completely real.
It was a heist so daring, it felt ripped straight from the plot of a Hollywood blockbuster, a helicopter, a team of bold criminals, and a plan so audacious it left an entire nation in shock. In the early hours in 2009, Sweden witnessed one of the most elaborate and thrilling robberies in history. The target, a high-security cash depot. The getaway, a stolen helicopter. The execution, absolutely mind-blowing. But how did they pull it off? And how did these criminals outsmart the police, even using decoy explosives to buy themselves time?
I was in prison in Finland when I saw this on the news, and I was just like, wow. We had talked about the idea of using a helicopter, but I thought that's straight out of a movie. Landing with a helicopter, it's like Mission Impossible. This is on another level, the highest level yet. They own the sky, it's just them, up there.
Today, we're diving deep into the story behind Sweden's infamous helicopter heist, a crime that captivated the world and left investigators chasing shadows. This is the helicopter heist, inside Sweden's most daring robbery. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you never miss out on more incredible stories like this one. In the dead of night, on September 23rd, 2009, two men stealthily approach a private airfield where two helicopters are stored. With precision and determination, they slice through the fabric of the hangar to gain access. Pushing the helicopter out into the open, they have no need for keys to make it start. Starting a helicopter is, in fact, far easier than hot-wiring a car. The duo takes off, flying just 30 meters above the ground, using the glow of nearby roads as their guide through the darkness. After a short flight, they land on a grassy field where several other men, equipped with tools and gear, quickly board. The helicopter then veers south, heading towards Stockholm and the cash depot G4S, a facility that processes more than 100 million Swedish kronor every day, and which is their target. Outside the hangar to the police's own helicopters, a man sprints up and places a box with a blinking light at the entrance. The object is designed to look like an explosive device, effectively preventing the police from accessing their aircraft until bomb disposal experts are called in. Meanwhile, the stolen helicopter, now a shadow in the night, follows the glow of streetlights toward its destination. Along the way, accomplices secure chains fitted with tire-shredding spikes across the streets surrounding the G4S cash depot. The chains are fastened with padlocks on both sides, making removal slow and difficult. As the helicopter reaches the depot, it hovers briefly before landing on the roof. Three masked men jump out, tools in hand, and immediately start attacking the glass ceiling with a sledgehammer. The employees hear the thundering sound of the helicopter and turns all the machines off to find out what's going on. They could also hear that someone was banging and pounding on the roof, and they are now ordered to secure the money in locked metal cages. The entire operation is meticulously planned by the robbers to last no more than 15 minutes, with the helicopter circling above to deter onlookers and potential threats. However, breaking through the reinforced glass takes far longer than expected, several agonizing minutes, triple the time they had calculated. Once inside, they use ladders measured precisely for the building's dimensions to descend into the depot. The robbers have to get through a window made of armored glass and blows it to 1,000 pieces, and alerting the staff that something very bad is going on. Navigating the building, the robbers encounter an unexpected hurdle, a door that wasn't marked on the blueprints they had obtained. After several tense moments, they manage to force it open, only to face another obstacle, a heavily armored door blocking their way. The plan calls for using explosives to breach it, but their calculations are off. The charge fails to open the door, leaving it intact and causing yet another costly delay in the already strained timeline. They add more explosives, and this time, the door opens. The robbers are now only one door away, and the terrified employees calls the police, telling them that the robbers are on the same floor as them, but are told to sit tight. They do not listen to the police, and the 14 employees cram into a tiny airlock, a space designed for just 2 people at a time. Trapped, they're now squeezed into a just few square meters, unable to escape. Only 30 seconds after escaping, the robbers walk into the same place they have just been in and begins preparing to force the iron cages with cash open. The robbers are focused and slice open the locked cages and meticulously sort through the cash, taking only high-value bills and leaving the rest behind. Their efficiency is remarkable. They're out of the room in just 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and then head back to the roof. The robbers load the helicopter with 150 kilograms of cash, pushing the aircraft to its weight limit.
I have seen all the approaches and landings they have performed, and I don't think the people who have been on board this helicopter realize the danger they have put themselves in. Because the margin for error is essentially non-existent.
Even a minor error could have led to a catastrophic crash. Despite the danger, the helicopter lifts off. The heist has now taken 31 minutes, twice as long as planned. Flying low, just 30 meters above the ground, the robbers make it nearly impossible for the police to track them. With no air support, police helicopters grounded and the military refuses to assist. The police are left helpless, trying to pursue in patrol cars that can't keep up. They have just robbed G4S for 39 million Swedish kronor, the second biggest heist in the country's history, surpassed only by the Arlanda airport heist, where the robbers got away with 44 million. The robbers head to their planned drop-off point, where they unload the cash and team. 3 robbers vanish into the water on high-speed boats, leaving the scene as quickly as they entered. They had just gotten away with one of the most spectacular robberies in history. Well, not quite, because one of the involved is about to make several huge mistakes. The pilot now maneuvers the helicopter to a secluded wooded area just outside Stockholm, skillfully landing it almost beneath the trees to keep it hidden. However, he now makes a critical error, despite having a canister of gasoline in the back seat, likely intended to destroy the helicopter and erase all traces. He fails to set it ablaze. Minutes later, the pilot makes his second mistake when he strolls into a local McDonald's for what we might call a post-heist dining. Unbeknownst to him, the restaurant's surveillance cameras capture his every move. He pays in cash, an attempt to avoid leaving a digital trail, and quickly finishes his meal in about 10 minutes. Before leaving, he asks the staff to call a taxi for him under the name Johan. But then, in an astonishing lapse of judgment, he makes his third mistake in mere minutes, paying for the taxi ride with his personal bank card. Meanwhile, a security guard monitoring the situation attempts to assist the terrified employees caught in the tiny room. However, they refuse to cooperate, fearing that this is the robbers who might take them hostage. It takes the police a mammothing 45 minutes after the robbers have left to enter the building, even though they were on the scene just 5 minutes after the heist began. This delay sparks significant criticism in the aftermath, particularly for their decision not to shoot at the helicopter, to disable it before it could take off from the rooftop. Police later defend their hesitation, citing the helicopter's distance as too far for a precise shot with a pistol and the uncertainty about whether robbers remained inside the building. Early the next morning, the helicopter is discovered by a witness in a dense forest. The police approach cautiously, fearing the helicopter might be rigged to explode when they spot a gas canister on a seat inside. Upon inspection, they uncover DNA evidence from the pilot, along with a forgotten GPS device that holds crucial clues. Not only does it contain the last coordinates of the flight, but it also yields a fingerprint from another unidentified individual. A reconstruction of the flight reveals just how meticulously planned and dangerously executed the helicopter journey really was. Every detail underscores the razor-thin line between the audacity of the heist and the peril it brought to those involved. The police's delayed response wasn't the only criticism they faced regarding the daring heist. In fact, Swedish police had received advance warning from Serbian authorities about a major robbery set to occur in Sweden a month before it happened. The tip-off included details about the planned robbery and even the names of some individuals believed to be involved. Intercepted phone conversations revealed critical details, including discussions about hiring a pilot who reportedly demanded 15,000 euros for his participation.
Hi, you know what? I called a school and asked how much it costs to learn. You know what? It costs 15,000 euros. A nice title, if nothing else. To say I'm a pilot, for crying out loud.
The intelligence outlined that the robbery would target a cash depot using a helicopter, but it lacked specific information about the location. Sweden, with several such depots, posed a challenge for pinpointing the exact target. However, the tip did indicate the heist would occur before September 15th, using a Bell Ranger helicopter with a pilot and 3 perpetrators. The goal was to steal 90 million Swedish kronor, leading the police to suspect the Panaxia Cash Depot in Bromma. In response, police relocated their helicopters from their usual location to the police academy in Solna to prevent potential sabotage. A tactical unit was stationed near the Panaxia Depot in the days leading up to the suspected date. Surveillance was tightened on one individual tasked with securing the helicopter and pilot, as well as on everyone he came into contact with. However, when the anticipated date passed without incident and intercepted phone communications dropped to near silence, police began to lose hope. The operation was called off, helicopters were returned to their original locations, and the authorities concluded the robbery had likely been abandoned for unknown reasons. But just 1 week after standing down, the heist unfolded. The robbers had outsmarted the police by switching all their phones, cutting off surveillance efforts. An analysis of phone network data after the heist revealed at least 14 devices were involved, leading the police to estimate that around 20 people participated in the operation. Tracing the helicopter used in the robbery led investigators to Alexander Eriksson, a 34-year-old pilot who was known for his exceptional helicopter skills, capable of maneuvers that most other pilots wouldn't attempt. Often employed for film and TV productions, he came from a wealthy family. His motivation for joining the heist wasn't financial gain, but the thrill and adrenaline of the experience. 5 days after the audacious heist, authorities apprehended the helicopter pilot at Arlanda Airport as he attempted to leave the country. During his interrogation, he claimed to have no memory of the night, attributing it to a relapse into drug use. His statements seemed to evolve to fit the evidence police presented, raising suspicions. The next arrested was the so-called Kalashnikov man. DNA evidence linked him to the scene after a ladder collapsed with him on it, causing him to cut himself on shattered glass. Investigators discovered 5 DNA traces at the crime scene, including on a sledgehammer and another ladder. Shortly after the heist, he fled to the Dominican Republic but was swiftly tracked down, arrested, and extradited to Sweden. The man, dubbed the project leader, was caught during a routine traffic stop. Among his possessions was a receipt for 5 prepaid phones, which were later tied to the operation. Further arrests followed, including the bomb man, whose DNA was found on a partially burned glove and a lighter left at the scene. In total, 10 men were charged, although investigators believed the group involved up to 20 people. 3 of the accused were acquitted, but one common thread among the suspects was their shared origins in a high-crime area of Stockholm. Many had known each other since childhood, growing up in an environment under constant police surveillance. Eventually, the Kalashnikov man confessed, acknowledging his role in smashing windows, carrying cash and brandishing a Kalashnikov to intimidate witnesses and ensure compliance. The people convicted got 1 to 8 years in prison, depending on their involvement in the robbery. The helicopter heist remains one of the most daring and infamous crimes in modern Swedish history, and one of the most spectacular heists in the world. Remember to hit that subscribe button and put on all notifications.